Hi, and welcome to our Aim for Good video series. We designed Aim for Good with the hope that we could connect individuals in this community and provide different resources to shine light on local nonprofits, people that might be in need, any different resources that we could provide out there for you.
This video series is intended to provide relevant information from industry leaders and also connect and highlight our colleagues, our friends, our clients to nonprofits in need.
Please stay tuned at the end of the video as you'll see different links that we discussed during the conversation so that you'll be able to contact them directly and help anyone in need. And also, make sure to subscribe to our channel as we'll be updating these videos on a regular basis. Thanks again for joining us. We are happy to have Roger Schultz with us today. He is a wonderful man, good friend of ours. He is the Superintendent President of Mt. Jacinto College. He's been doing that since 2008. Mt. Jacinto serves over 27,000 students throughout a 1,700 square mile district. The campuses in the district are the San Gorgonio Pass campus. I got that right. The San Jacinto campus, Menifee Valley campus, and Temecula Higher Education campus. And opening this fall, which we'll talk about today as well, is the Temecula Valley campus, which we're all excited about locally. Roger, we appreciate your time and visiting with us today. I'm going to pass it off to Adam for a quick intro of why we're doing this today to kind of give some more information, and then we'll talk to you about a few different things going on in the college community.
Yeah, so for us, for Mark and I, obviously it's been a busy couple months in the markets and working with our clients, but one of the things that we spent some time talking about, Roger, was just connecting with people that we trust, people from different sectors, different industries, just to provide a little bit of an insight into what their world is dealing with everything with the coronavirus, but also just so that the people that are asking us questions, they've got a resource to get good, honest, trustworthy information. And so we've been trying to expand what we're doing from a nonprofit side to be a little bit more general. We've obviously supported Mark's charity ONF for a long time, and now this expansion to Aim for Good is going to allow us to connect with a lot of other groups, hopefully on a bigger scale. So that's kind of the why that we wanted to jump in. But thanks again for popping in and joining us.
My pleasure. Anything I can do to help our community.
Yeah, from a college standpoint, my oldest son, he's in his graduating year. He's in his last semester, so he's definitely experienced a whole new setup via virtual classes, and graduation still up in the air of where that's going to be, if that's going to be. And I know that's been a common kind of question we received from clients, kind of wanted to get your take on this and what you're seeing happening with the rest of the school year, summer, fall courses as well. We've even had people ask us if, some colleges are going to cancel the fall. Can you provide some insight where we're at with Mt. Jacinto and everything else you're connected to?
Well, your question is very timely. I was on a regional CEO meeting for presidents in the Inland Empire on Friday, and I tell you, nobody has the perfect crystal ball. I don't, but our number one priority is obviously keeping our students safe while trying to educate them. And, we're optimistic about the future and getting through this, but the reality is, in an effort to protect our students, I don't see, we're offering summer fully online right now. If I had to bet, I think I'd put all my money on fully online, not just us, but everybody. And then I heard late last week, and I was scratching my head thinking that this may go on even further into the spring, looking at even spring a bulk of the classes. And our health center director shared with us, and I feel pretty validated. She said, you're looking at spring of 21, March of 21 before you start to see larger groups get back together. And with some of the guidance from the governor and others last week about how restaurants would go about opening up with large spatial distancing in the classroom and restaurants and other places, it just isn't effective to be able to open in the way that we operated before. But that's from a deficit mindset. I'd like to focus on all the positives that are occurring at institutions throughout higher education. We're able and demonstrate how effective online learning can be. Mount San Jacinto College has been a leader in online education for the last decade. We had and other things that have put us in a position where people have turned to us, and we've actually absorbed personnel from other entities to make us very strong. So what we were really happy with about a year and a half ago, we learned that online learning was as effective. Our success rates were almost identical to face-to-face, and that was the biggest problem with online, is that we were losing a lot of students and not having them be successful. But like I said, about a year and a half ago, it gave us the confidence that said, hey, we know how to do this. We've got some swagger. We know how to support our students. So when it came to the decision to mobilize about 5-6 weeks, well, I guess it was longer than that, 6 weeks ago, to move fully online, we had great confidence because we had some of the best people in the state, and I would posit even in the country for that matter. And we were able to do the training. We didn't rush to it. We took 3 weeks. Some schools tried to immediately utilize their spring break and move it around, maybe take another week. We assessed immediately, said, look, we're going to need 3 weeks to get both the technology in place for our staff and the classes transitioned. And you really talk about the building the boat while you're in the water, and that's what we were doing because our staff, although we are good at what we do, we were built to service about 20% of our classes online, not 100%. But the thing that really blew me away was I thought, okay, we're not going to be able to offer some labs. We're not going to be able to offer some physical education, activity classes and things like that. Okay, some of those are just going to have to move to the sideline, and we'll give them incomplete, so we'll figure it out. But I think we had maybe 5 classes total that had to be canceled. One of them was a geology field trip where it was hands-on. I'm thinking, okay, that made sense. There were a couple of other nursing ones, but everything else was able to move forward, get it online. So it was like 99.5% of our classes, because the one thing we didn't want to do was derail our students' hopes. And I think that's the other thing I'd like to add. We were worried about seeing a lot of students drop. Maybe it's because there's not a whole lot else they can do right now, but our enrollments, we have 2,000 section enrollments, like class enrollments, not head count, but 2,000 more ahead of where we were last spring at this point. So students are hanging on, even though they're moving into an environment they're not aware of, because 40% of our students were taking online classes as we entered into this, but 60% weren't. And the other thing that we discovered very quickly was that there were a lot of students that did not have access to technology. They relied on our computer labs, and some of them didn't even have a stable internet signal from home, just like I had to encounter today. But we were able to, working with our foundation, go out and get a bunch of laptops, Chromebooks, working with also Parish Union High School District as well as our foundation, and we were able to get those in the hands of our neediest students. And we're setting ourselves up to help those students moving forward.
I think that's great. I know one of the concerns, in the K through 12 space was definitely the access to, technology and internet and all that. And we've seen a lot of the districts, have accessibility to the Google Chromebooks, and it's a huge need. So, congratulations on what you've done so far. I saw a statistic the other day that 91% of the world right now, the schools are not, they're not being utilized. And so this is a huge call to action. So congratulations on what you've done so far.
Well, thanks. I being the leader, you feel a little queasy, and you're like the cheerleader going, we can do it. And deep down inside, you're going, God, how are we going to do this in just 3 weeks? But I'll tell you, the faculty, the staff, they rolled up their sleeves and they worked long hours, and they made it happen for our students, because education is so empowering, and we play such a critical role in changing lives for the better.
Yeah.
Hey, Roger, I know you guys have been dealing with all the getting through the last several weeks. How is all this going to impact, or is it kind of still being figured out what's happening with the rollout this fall in your Temecula campus?
The construction was affected, as you can imagine. The supply chain for everything from steel to some of the fabric on the furniture. We got word, I guess it was just about a week and a half ago, that we are going to have to defer to a spring opening. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it gives time for the public to heal from this COVID-19 situation, and think about together in a high rise in Temecula. We're going to have to let people feel comfortable. We're going to look at how we schedule a little differently in there to begin with. It will be a slower rollout. Like I said, the amount of classes, the labs, and everything that we're offering online has taken some pressure off. This does not derail us from our plan, though, because students learn in their best environment that they're comfortable with. So a lot of students are going to want to get back in the lab and roll up their sleeves, or get into the art studio, or sit in the desk in front of the math instructor. That's going to happen. It's like I said, it's just going to probably be a slower rollout. Spring 2021 is what we're looking at. Grand opening, we'll probably wait till we get an all clear on the health. So it might be summer of 2021 is what I would probably be looking at, where we really throw open the doors, cut the ribbon, and say, y'all come in.
Yeah.
So as far as resources, if we have people, friends, clients, asking about Mount San Jacinto and where to access this type of information, typically I'd imagine it's your website. Are there any other resources that you would suggest, related to your foundation or anything else as well?
Well, we partner. MSJC Foundation is where I focus on my giving and wanting to try and help the students that, with a population of 27,000, and a lot of them are parents, single parents, having food needs. So I also try and support, our local food banks as well. But yeah, going through the foundation, because the needs are not, it used to be our foundation ran scholarships, and we've evolved so much beyond that. Our foundation was instrumental in providing Chromebooks, like I said, and we'll continue to do so for the students that don't have access to technology. We went out and bought 200 hotspots from Sprint to try and let access to that, the actual internet. But, there's everything from, the Food for Thought that's our local campus-based food distribution for those with food insecurities. But the foundation helps with that. They help with so many, we talk about these little issues that students seem to stumble on late in their career, and we tell the story of like the nursing student that was passed all her classes, did great work, and then didn't have the $400 to take the NCLEX licensing exam. So that student, just last year, we got the money together, the foundation sponsored her, she passed the exam. She's a frontline nurse right now working on COVID-19. Mm-hmm. So you go through and you get the financial aid from the state and the feds, and you put these students through the pipeline, and then they get to the very end and they hit these little hurdles, and that's where the foundation comes in. They're so strategically positioned to do what the state and the federal financial aid might not be able to do in as timely a fashion. I can think of another student last year, single mom, had to get out of an abusive relationship. She came to the foundation. It was going to take a couple of days for the county to get her situated, and we were able to put her up in a hotel a couple of nights so her and her baby did not have to A, drop out of school, B, stay safe, and be able to continue with her education. So those are the little stories that the foundation is able to help on so many more fronts than it was just write a scholarship donation check. We now are able to really help students get over the hump.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been great to get to know you and Mount San Jacinto and the foundation personally over the years, and just the growth that I've seen personally, and the big heart that's there. A lot of people don't realize what you've done to impact this community. So we really appreciate you. We really appreciate Mount San Jacinto's role in the Valley here and beyond. You've always had wonderful pearls of wisdom when I've talked to you before, and I appreciate your insight. If there's anything else you want to share with us, feel free to do so at this point, but I think we may have just exhausted some of it right there, because that was a string of really good information. Those little stories add up for sure.
No, I think, the biggest casualty of all of this has been our graduation, and I know our students have been really upset by it, but we will get through it. I was talking with the president on Friday, and, like I mentioned earlier, we have so many students that are online and that are working, and she said, we're going to do an online virtual graduation. We don't know why we weren't doing that before, because, we graduate close to 2,000 students each spring. We only had last year 850 actually March. So I think, trying to find some silver linings in all this, I think it is changing the way we're going to do business, and hopefully we can celebrate students going forward through online. And so, again, we've learned a lot about ourselves. We've learned a lot about our resilience, and I am amazed at the human spirit, all wanting to come together and help each other at this time. I'm seeing it every day with our faculty, with our foundation. Although we can get depressed being in isolation in a dreary home office, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the day when we can celebrate the achievements of overcoming this.
Yeah. And well, great work, and we look forward to seeing you in person again soon, and sharing a breakfast locally, hopefully, and talking about some trailer trips coming up, hopefully too.
Love it, love it.
Roger, thank you.
Right, well, thank you so much for your time.
Stay safe, you too. Look forward to seeing you. Take care.
Take care, you too. Bye-bye.